Welcome to Travel Guide and Photography. My name is Larry and I'm your host. If you're new to the channel, thank you and welcome. If you're returning to the channel, thank you and welcome back. This week we are on an excursion, but it is an onboard excursion. I'm on the Holland America Lines Conings Dam where I'm the acupuncture physician. We are into July now. Most of this video has been shot in May and June where we had a little bit nicer weather, but I thought I'd show you this to see that if you don't get as lucky to get the blue skies, it can still be very, very beautiful. During this video, we're going to see the John Hopkins Glacier, which you see behind me. We will see my favorite glacier, the Marjorie. We will also see the Grand Pacific and the Lamplugh. If you are just about to figure out what itinerary you want to go on, I'm going to put a link above. Please go watch that video. Your itinerary is the most important thing that you can decide on when you're going to take a cruise, especially here in Alaska. You want to make sure that you do come to Glacier Bay National Park. So with that said, let's go ahead and kick back, relax, and watch the beautiful scenery of Glacier Bay National Park, Alaska. Here in Glacier Bay National Park, you can actually see how beautiful it is, even when we're not at the glacier. It's just a wonderful day from about 7 in the morning to about 3 in the afternoon, looking at the scenery, the glaciers, the mountains. It's just absolutely beautiful. At this point, I want to thank you for joining me on Travel Guide and Photography. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be notified when I post my next video if you hit the bell. Okay, I just came down to deck 3 where they have spotted a whale. So perfect timing. Nice, looks like a little humpback whale. On the other side of the ship is the Marjorie Glacier. We're in Glacier Bay National Park. There you go. How lucky is this for everybody? There he goes, it's got a tail. Alright, let's take a walk around the ship. We're going to head to the other side, take a look at the Marjorie. That was really great. Back in 9th year of being up here, that's the first time I've seen a whale in this inlet. It's now time for a commercial break. Welcome to Travel Guide and Photography. My name is Larry, I'm your host. One thing I want to tell you about is make sure you bring a camera with a long lens. And also, if you can, a nice pair of binoculars, especially if you do not have that camera. That way you'll be able to enjoy some of the wildlife. We do see otters, we do see seals, and at times we'll notice a bear on the shoreline. If you do not have a long lens or a pair of binoculars, you can look nothing more than a speck. So we're approaching the Grand Pacific Glacier and the Marjorie. The Marjorie is my favorite glacier. Also with that long lens binoculars, if it calves, which it does many times, you'll be able to get a good look at that. So if you're enjoying Travel Guide and Photography, please hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. Also hit the like button to let YouTube know you're enjoying what we're doing. Here we are at the Marjorie Glacier. I absolutely recognize this. Back behind it is Mount Fairweather, 14,000 something feet. A lot of ice in the water, a lot more than was here last week. So that means it's been doing a lot of calving where big chunks of ice are falling off. Another thing the captain will do here at the Marjorie, he will stop the ship and he will rotate it slowly. So even if you want to stay in your cabin and on your balcony, you will eventually see this. I suggest coming down to the different decks. Oh, there we go, there's a cow. You can hear the crowd behind me all kind of cheering. So that was very, very cool. It's been a great day. We've seen this calving. We saw a whale earlier. Balcony, you will eventually see this. I suggest coming down to the different decks. Oh, there we go, there's a cow. You can hear the crowd behind me all kind of cheering. So again, back to what I was saying, you want to come down to the different deck levels. I'm on deck 4. This is a crew area here. Above me is deck 5. You might have been able to hear the crowd behind me. On the Princess ships on Norwegian Cruise Lines, it's deck 7. come to the lower decks and get this perspective. Also, make sure you go to the upper decks, deck 12, 13, 14, depends on what ship you're on. But again, got very, very lucky today actually seeing it calve. It's been another beautiful day here in Glacier Bay National Park. We're at the Marjorie Glacier, and we've been here for about an hour, and we are now departing. As you can see, as I pan over here to the left, we have another ship coming in. We have the Crown Princess. So now it's its turn. It's going to spend about an hour here, just like we did. We are back at the Lamplugh Glacier, one of my favorite glaciers. The difference is I first saw it in 2011. It has lost at least 2/3 of its size since then. Still a very, very beautiful glacier. Today is one of the most beautiful days that we've had this year. One of the prettiest days I've seen, period. And this has been my 9th year up here in Alaska during the summers. So again, Glacier Bay National Park, the Lamplugh Glacier, for about 9:30 in the morning. If you look to the right, you're going to see a white patch before it hits dark. That's where the glacier used to be, and then it stretched all the way across to the left. You can see where it is now. Keep going past those black rocks, and it'll come down to a point right before it kind of dips back into that little cove. That's where it used to go. It was also much higher over the top of those black rocks there. So Lamplugh Glacier, Glacier National Park, May 2022. Week 7 here in Glacier Bay National Park. We are very close to the Lamplugh Glacier. It has melted at least half, if not 2/3, since I first seen it in 2011. A little different angle of the Lamplugh. Starting to approach Jaw Point, which is the rocky point right there. On the other side of it, we're going to be looking at the Hopkins Glacier. I'm on deck 4 now. This is the bow area for the crew. Above me is deck 5, where a lot of the guests go. Again, very important that you not only take a look here at this level, but to also go up to deck 12 and take a look at it there to get a different perspective. Okay, we are at the John Hopkins Glacier here in Glacier Bay National Park. This is our 4th week out in Alaska. We're at the end of May in 2022. As you can see, there's a couple mountains in the background towering over the bay. It has John Hopkins in it. Those are 10,000-foot peaks. There's also a lot of ice in the water. The ice is due to global warming because the glaciers are melting. So let's go ahead and take a little bit closer look at the John Hopkins. Another view of the John Hopkins Glacier. The captain is taking the ship very, very close today because there's no ice in the water, or relatively little ice in the water. And we're going to pan a little bit here to the left, and we're going to take a look at Jaw Point. We are ending this week's video on travel guide and photography here in Glacier Bay National Park at my favorite glacier, the Marjorie. As we had shown you earlier, this does calve quite a bit. Also, in the earlier months, May and June, when I did most of the filming, everything was clear blue skies. But as you've seen during this week's video, things can get just as beautiful, even though the clouds are overcast and the sky's a bit gray. So again, if you've enjoyed travel guide and photography, please subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified of my next video, and also hit the like button and let YouTube know that you're enjoying what I'm doing. We are now on the stern of the ship, deck 3, pretty close to the water line. Hopefully you can hear me over the turning of the screws here a little bit. But it's a really nice perspective. When you are on these ships, make sure to go to the upper decks, get some shots, but also come down to the lower decks. On the conning stem here where I am, it's on deck 3. Most ships on Princess are deck 7, same with NCL. So just double check before you get to these places so you can get a really nice different perspective.